Good morning. This is a continuation of the previous lecture, that is friction, where we have already discussed about various basic equations, that is the force required to raise a load, the force required to down the load, and what is the screw and screw efficiency, then self-locking, overhauling, and then we have seen a screw jack problem, and subsequently today we would like to come to a theory part, which is collars and pivots. These collars and pivots is a basic tool to design for subsequent portion, that is your clutches, brakes and dynamometers. Okay, so first in today's lecture we'll discuss about the background behind the collars and pivots, and the associated mathematical part we'll discuss today. Okay, so first let us see what is collar, what is pivot, and where we use collars and pivots. So you can see in the diagram we have shown a model of collar as well as pivot. So first let me tell you what is a collar and what is a pivot and how they are useful for in mechanical applications. You are aware of it, there are certain shafts which are revolving, and on those shafts there will be axial load coming. So to take that axial load we have to provide a support. So the support is provided either by means of a collar or a pivot. A collar is a one where the shaft is made an extension of its shape so that it will rest on the surface. Okay, that is what you can see here. That is what you can see here in this particular diagram. The collar, a flat collar, and the subsequent one is a conical collar. So a conical collar and a flat collar is shown. Then what is pivot? In case of pivot, the shaft is directly resting on a surface where the load is taken by the end of the surface. Okay, so collars and pivots are the two things which will take care about axial loads when a shaft is revolving. So now let us see what are the theories that are applicable for these collars and pivots, and how we can find out what is the frictional power or frictional torque that can be transmitted or that can be lost by a collar as well as a pivot, isn't it? Now there are two theories called, one is uniform pressure theory and another one is uniform wear theory. What is uniform pressure theory? What is uniform wear theory? First let me explain, then we will go for the corresponding necessary equations. So the name itself, it is indicating uniform pressure theory is nothing but the pressure is uniform over the entire contact surface. In uniform pressure theory, the entire area same pressure will be applied. That is what we call uniform pressure theory. In case of uniform pressure theory, we can write the equation for the pressure is equal to F by pi R naught square minus Ri square. So what is this F, what is this R naught, and what is this Ri? So here I am talking about a collar where the collar outer radius is R naught and Ri is the inner radius. So R naught is outer radius and this Ri is inner radius. And what is this F? F is the force that is acting on the shaft. So as we said, the pressure is, the force is which is acting axially. So you are aware of it, the pressure is nothing but load by area. Load by area. What is the load? Load is F. What is the area where it is resting? It is resting on this circular ring area, which is pi r naught square minus ri square. So that gives the pressure in the uniform wear theory, uniform pressure theory. This is for uniform pressure theory. Uniform pressure theory. Then let us come to the other theory, which is called uniform wear theory. Uniform wear theory. What is the significance of this uniform wear theory? First, let us see. As we stated in the previous case, that is in the case of uniform pressure theory, we assumed the pressure is uniform. Then what about in uniform wear theory? It is assumed the wear is uniform in the entire surface area, where the wear is uniform over the entire surface area. So for this, a simple analysis or so the simple general concept I will give you so that you will be very clear. So you just take an example. A chalk is taken to write on some floor. Okay. So you have written by applying some force or some pressure. Okay. So that the chalk has been consumed, say 1 centimeter height. Okay. And you got 1 meter length of the writing. Suppose now I will apply another pressure, that is higher pressure, to consume 1 centimeter of the chalk. The length that can be written may not be 1 meter, it may be half meter, isn't it? Because I am increasing the thickness of the length which I am drawing by applying a more pressure. So if I apply more pressure, more amount of the material is removed. Okay. So in a similar manner, what you can say here in uniform wear theory, we can say the wear at any portion is uniform. That means, but the pressure is varying. That means if the pressure is less, then the radius at the consideration point is more, or the pressure is more, the consideration radius point is less. So how we can write this? Suppose if you take a surface like a circular surface, okay, and where say this is Ri and this is R0. I will take two different locations, like here one, and I will take one more at here. So one is with a radius of say R1 and the another one is with a radius of R2. Okay. So this is one is with a radius of R1 and another one is with a radius of R2. Okay. So if I take an elemental area at here and here, one is 2 pi R1 and another one it is a 2 pi R2. And if I take a small strip of delta R, a small strip of delta R, okay, then I can write the amount of the force that is acting on this one is P1 2 pi R1 into delta R. So P1 is the pressure and 2 pi R1 is the length of this and delta R is the width, okay, which is equal to P2 2 pi R2 delta R. Okay, so I have taken at R1 and R2 location their delta or small strips are taken, and the pressure at one location is P1 and another location it is P2. But as I said, the uniform wear theory says that the wear at any location is same. So the force here and here, if I make it same, then I can write delta R get cancel, 2 pi get cancel. Like I can write P1 R1 is equal to P2 R2. Or so many things you can write, P3 R3, so on. So in that case, you can simply write PR is constant. That is the product of pressure as well as the radius at that location is constant, which uniform wear theory defines. Okay, so these are the two theories. One is uniform pressure theory and another one is uniform wear theory. So in case of uniform pressure theory, we assume pressure is constant, so that the equation for the pressure P is equal to F by pi R naught square minus Ri square. And whereas in case of uniform wear theory, the basic equation is PR into C, that is the pressure into radius is constant. Then how to find out here in case of uniform wear theory, the pressure quantity, how we can find out. Okay, for this I can write here like what is the axial force. So what is the axial force in this case? So the axial force F is equal to integral, this is Ri to R naught. And what is the axial force on an elemental area? Axial force on an elemental area. So this is nothing but this is R naught to Ri. So this is the pressure so on the element, pressure on the element. Okay, so on this element area, what is the pressure into area? So this is R naught Ri R naught. So this is the pressure P on the element area. What is the element area here? You are taking a small strip which is nothing but 2 pi R, that is the length, and dr is the small strip, 2 pi R dr. So here what we can write, PR is constant. So from here we can write P is equal to C by R. So here the axial force F is equal to, this is P plus I will write C by R 2 pi R dr. Okay, then here RR get cancel. Then this is 2 pi take the outside, Ri to R naught. Okay, then this is CdR. So dr integration is R. Then I can write 2 pi C into R I to R naught. So if I write here, this is like 2 pi C R naught minus Ri. So the axial force F is within the limits of Ri to R0, and the axial force on elemental area So how we can get this on elemental area? If we know the pressure, so pressure on element into area. So what is the pressure? Pressure is P. What is the element area? It is a ring, 2 pi r, area with taking a width of dr, 2 pi r dr. So what we have written in the uniform wear theory, P into R is constant. So we can write P is equal to C by R. This was already we have written. From that I replace my P value by C by R. That is Ri to R0. So C by R, 2 pi R. Okay, this is dr. Delta R can be replaced by dr. So here R get cancelled. So I have Ri to R0. Okay, so C 2 pi dr. So this 2 pi C, I will take it out. Then dr integration is R. Then limits of R0 and Ri. So this I can write substituting the limits. This is R0 minus Ri. So what is C? C is PR. Once again I will replace it. 2 pi PR into R0 minus Ri. So this is F. So from here P is equal to F by 2 pi R into R0 minus Ri. This is the equation useful to use in uniform wear theory. So here what is the flaw in it? Let us see. This what it says, pressure is equal to F by 2 pi R into R0 minus Ri. Let us take a case where Ri is 0. That is at the center of the body or the center of the shaft, what is the pressure? If I write my Ri 0, then this R is now Ri. My considering point is Ri. So this is F by 2 pi Ri into R0 minus Ri. So this Ri becomes 0. So this is 0 into some value. This is 0. So this is some value by 0. So F by 0, so which is nothing but it is an infinity. 1 by 0 is an infinity. That means P is infinity, which is really not true. Why? There is no infinity pressure at anywhere. But what this equation concludes, it is F by 0, which is an infinity. So this theory having some flaw. Of course, even uniform pressure theory also some flaw, and uniform wear theory is also some flaw. But we use in some cases uniform pressure theory and in some cases uniform wear theory. So there are two equations we got. What those two equations? One is uniform pressure theory. Pressure is pi into R naught square minus Ri square. This is uniform pressure theory. Then uniform wear theory. Where P is equal to F by 2 pi R into R naught minus Ri. So this is based on the pressure theory. This is based upon uniform wear theory. Using these pressure values of uniform pressure and uniform wear values of P, we can find out what is the frictional torque that is transmitted by the collar as well as the bearing. Okay, that will be further we will see, isn't it? Just now we have discussed about what is the pressure in uniform pressure theory and uniform wear theory. Now what I would like to derive for what is the amount of the torque that is transmitted or power lost, either transmitted or lost using a flat collar. Why I use a word called lost and transmitted is, in case of clutches it is power transmitted, in case of bearings it is power lost. Okay, so the same thing once we can use it for, that is for a positive, once it is for negative. One case it is more and one case it is less requirements. That is what we would like to see once we complete the lecture. I will say where we use uniform wear theory, where you use uniform pressure theory, okay, in case of clutches, in case of bearings. Let us take a flat collar. So the diagram which it shows a flat collar, you can see the flat collar where this flat collar is one where the top view is shown a circular, and you can see that the corresponding front view there is a step. So there is a step is here, the step is here. In this step the load is taken. So I want to find out what is the load coming on this and what is the torque that is transmitted by applying that frictional force, isn't it? So let me first use a flat collar one, uniform pressure theory, flat collar, uniform pressure theory. So let us take a case one. In a flat collar, applying the uniform pressure theory. So what is the frictional torque? Frictional torque transmitted or lost. Frictional torque either transmitted or lost. Okay, so you can see that the collar with inner and outer radius is Ri and R naught. So I want to find out what is the force, frictional force on the elemental area. Okay, that is a small segment if you take, and if I want to find out total frictional force, I can integrate between the limits of Ri to R naught. So what is this frictional force? Friction mu, okay, into the force F, okay, so that is the frictional force. So, and what is the frictional torque? This is frictional torque. That is Ri to R naught, okay, then mu. So this is what is the magnitude of the torque force how we can write force? This we know that the pressure is P, okay, and what is the area? That is 2 pi r dr, okay. So this is 2 pi r dr, okay, into the torque multiplied by r. So this is, what is this F? F is the force. How to get the force? Pressure into area. So this is the force F, which is pressure into area. What is the pressure? P. What is the area? A ring of 2 pi r length, okay, with a width of dr. So the area is 2 pi r dr, okay, and torque is equal to, torque is nothing but force into the distance, that is the radius r. So here, what is the theory we are using? Uniform pressure theory. In uniform pressure theory, what is the value of P? We know the P value is F by, this is pi r naught square minus ri square, okay, and this is 2 pi r into, this is dr into r. So this pi can get cancelled, r into r square. I will take, this is mu f, okay, this is by r naught square minus ri square, ri to r naught, what is there? R square dr. What is integration of r square? R cube by 3, and let me substitute the limits. This is r cube by 3 between the limits of r naught ri. Then by writing here, I get this is 2 is there, no? Here 2 also have to take outside. 2 by 3 mu f r naught square minus ri square into r naught cube minus ri cube, which gives 2 by 3 mu f into r naught cube minus ri cube by r naught square minus ri square. So this is the equation of the T in case of uniform pressure theory, 2/3 mu f r naught cube minus ri cube by r naught square minus ri square. Okay, so this is the equation which you get. This is 2/3 mu f r naught cube minus ri cube by r naught square minus ri square. Then what about the same thing if you apply uniform wear theory? Uniform wear theory. I apply the uniform wear theory. So up to here it is same, only the thing, so the frictional torque in this case, P value will be different. This is Ri to R naught. What is it? Mu P 2 pi R dr into R. What is P in case of uniform wear theory? We know that is P is equal to F by 2 pi R R naught minus Ri, okay, into 2 pi r dr into r. So here 2 pi r get cancelled. You have drr, okay, mu f. Then mu f, mu is the coefficient of friction, f is the force, okay, by r naught minus ri into dr r. So here r, so r square by 2. So integral r dr is r square by 2. Integration for r is r square by 2 between the limits of r naught and ri. Then substituting these limits, and I can write mu f by 2 into r naught minus ri, okay, is equal to, and here r naught square minus ri square. R naught square minus ri square. Here the t can be written as this r naught square mu f by r naught minus ri into r naught plus ri into r naught minus ri. Okay, and by 2 is there. So r naught minus ri get cancelled. Then it will be mu f r naught plus ri by 2. What is r naught plus ri by 2? That is the mean radius. So you can write mu f into r mean. Okay, so this is using uniform wear theory, that is mu f r m, or you can write mu f into r naught plus ri by 2. So this is in case of flat collar, uniform pressure theory and uniform wear theory. Then we will see in case of conical collar what will happen, this uniform pressure theory and uniform wear theory. Okay, this is for flat collar and applying the two theories. One is uniform pressure theory and another one is the uniform wear theory. Now let us see in conical collar how we can apply uniform pressure theory as well as uniform wear theory. First I will discuss uniform pressure theory in a conical collar, then we will go for uniform wear theory. So they are very simple, only a small parameter will change in the conical collar. What that change that makes here different is, let me explain. You can see in the sketch the conical collar which is resting here, is on the object on an inclined surface, okay, on a wedge surface, which I am showing here. Let me take a radius of r, okay, and a small element of dr. But actually in the resting portion which it rests, you can see this is the resting portion. This is the resting portion. What is this resting portion? The small element of dr, that is this x. How I can find out this x? Let us see. This dr, if I project it, this will be the dr length. This is the dr length, and the alpha is the total angle. Here you can see that collar, the total angle is the total angle, included angle, where it is 2 alpha. So naturally this will become alpha. So this makes an angle alpha with the vertical. This makes an angle alpha with the vertical. From the simple trigonometry, we can write sine alpha, isn't it, is dr by x, dr by x. So where it is resting, actually it is resting on this surface of the x. What is this x? X is nothing but, you can rearrange it, X is equal to dr by sine alpha. Okay, so if you are clear about this concept, then you can easily derive this equation. There is nothing in it like in the previous case. So the total torque, okay, I will write the total torque is, this is Ri to R naught, okay, this is delta T dr. So that is the total frictional torque, okay. So you can write this is Ri to R naught. What is delta T? We can write the delta T, okay, which is nothing but frictional force, okay, into radius. What is the frictional force? That is mu F 2 pi R, okay. In case of here, this is the element is, what is the element? dr by sine alpha. So dr by sine alpha into r. So in the earlier we have dr, here it is a dr by sine alpha. So if you write this part, what is this? R naught Ri, okay. So this is mu, okay. So what is F? What is F? So this is frictional force, frictional torque. So this is what is the F value? We can write, we know that F is equal to, P is equal to, okay, F by pi R naught square minus Ri square in uniform pressure theory. Okay, that is in case of uniform pressure theory. So you can write this. This is 2 pi r, area is written, no? P. This is mu P. So P, because we have written delta T dr, this is the pressure into area. So that is mu P. P is F by pi R naught square minus Ri square 2 pi r, okay, dr r by sine alpha. So you can write this pi get cancelled, okay, r square, this is 2 mu F Ri to R naught, okay. This is sine alpha, also take it out. Then what is there? R square dr. So r square integration is r cube by 3, that is 2 sine alpha. So here R naught square minus Ri square is also there. Sine alpha R naught square minus Ri square, okay, into, what is it? Mu F R naught, this is R cube limits of R naught Ri, okay, by 3. By substituting it, 2 mu F sine alpha R naught square minus Ri square, this is R naught cube minus Ri cube. Then your final equation is 2/3 mu F by sine alpha into R naught square minus Ri square by R naught cube minus Ri cube. So you can see there is no difference in the equation except it is 1 by sine alpha newly came into the equation. That is 2/3 mu F by sine alpha into R naught cube minus Ri cube by R naught square minus Ri square. Similar, if you do it for uniform wear theory, same, there is no much difference in that. In uniform wear theory, so the same thing, whereas here we will replace this P case, isn't it? What in that case we write? In that case we write F by 2 pi R naught minus Ri. So entire equation is same, then finally we get in that case T is equal to, okay, mu F R mean by sin alpha. So if you look at the two cases, that is flat collar and conical collar, only the difference is whatever the equation you get in flat collar, that multiplied by 1 by sin alpha gives the solution for your conical collar. What the answer you get here is the conical collar is flat collar multiplied by 1 by sin alpha. Okay, so this is what in case of flat collar and conical collar, okay, uniform pressure theory, uniform wear theory. Then what about pivots are concerned? They are same equations, only the thing is in case of pivots, what is Ri? In case of pivots, Ri is 0, then R naught is R. You substitute simply like that. So what, let us see in this case, that is uniform pressure theory, that is a conical collar. If I put here Ri 0, R naught is R, then it becomes simply 2/3 mu F, then R cube by R square. Okay, then this is 2/3 mu F R. Now Ri is 0. Then what is there? R naught. What is R naught? R naught is R. So then I can write R naught plus R cube, R square plus R square, R cube by R square gives R. Then it becomes 2/3 mu Fr. Similar, if you write here, this is also, what is this? This is mu F. Rm means R naught plus Ri by 2 into sin alpha. So what is Ri? Ri is 0. Then R naught is R. Then in that case, that is mu F R by 2 sin alpha. So with this, we can write the torque equations using uniform pressure theory, uniform wear theory. So these equations we would like to use in case of clutches design. Okay, that is collars concept is used in clutches. Okay, and brakes also we use the same equations. This is the background which you require to solve further part of the analysis.